guys, welcome back to another episode of the Mastery Minds podcast. Today we have guests on, N3ptune and Alex. They recently performed in Boise at the Treefort Festival. Super great performers, awesome stuff, awesome music.
Thank you.
Do you want to introduce yourselves, how you got into music, how you met? You want to?
Sure, I'll let you start.
Okay. I'm N3ptune. This is RustySteve. So we met back in 2016. Cap 2015. Yeah, 2015.
I think so.
Yeah, it was 2015.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And we met at this music camp called Links. It's with UCD in Denver. This college kind of sponsors the college. And college sponsors the camp. Sorry, college sponsors the college. Hello. And so bring kids from literally across the globe together and work on music. So we met there, worked on music, just kept in touch, and really throughout the years, closer to 2019, we actually started reconnecting more and then started working on music, which led to us working on doing shows together, and then led to us working on an actual project, and then here we are.
Yeah.
Here you are. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So what do you specifically focus on in the artist world?
I kind of go through phases with what I focus on.
Honestly, same.
Yeah. So I guess my main thing is music. Instrument wise, I play guitar. But I do a lot of production, as well as mixing and mastering. But I'm also a visual artist, so I do some fashion designing. I draw and paint, and I do a little bit of photography too.
Yeah, see, me too. I literally am a jack of all trades when it comes to creativity. I feel like everything just goes hand in hand. So
yeah, it does, especially when you're a creative person. I feel like it's you kind of just get how to do creative things.
Yeah. And then N3ptune, what do you focus on?
If it literally has to do with art, I do it. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, a director, I'm an actor, model, dancer as well. I don't necessarily play an instrument yet. I'm learning keyboard and guitar at the moment.
Yeah, I've learned, but I haven't kept up with it, so I'm not good.
See. So yeah, I'd say a lot of being at the forefront is a lot of what I do, but also being behind the scenes is what I do. So yeah, I do a lot of production work. So a lot of vocal production and actually producer elements. So even if it's simply bring this here, this part, this here, this directing something.
Directing stuff.
You know.
Directing the creative process.
Directing the creative process.
There we go. Yep. So what kind of messages do you guys like to send in your songs?
I can answer after you.
Whatever I write, it's of course always going to be from this point of view. But as I've gotten older, I've more so made it a point to be so overtly black that it's just evident. Mm-hmm. And for the simple fact of the entertainment industry specifically, I mean, acting realm and music realm has just been so bleached and whitewashed that and most people have just been of color, but specifically black people have just been so removed from that spotlight and not given credit on a public platform, or given credit, but it's paid dust, that I purposefully, overtly, and unapologetically make things so black, depending on what I'm saying, or certain references that I say, or the specific points of view that I speak from. And that goes without saying, anything I say is coming from my black life, but you know what I'm saying? I intentionally make sure that it's direct, that who I speak to is very direct, unless said otherwise in the songs and in the messages. But my messages are about being yourself so unapologetically, and just embarking in the sheer power of self.
That's awesome. That is literally amazing.
Thank you.
Definitely. Lately, I'm kind of just working on most of the music I do at this point is instrumentals basically. So I guess my writing style is kind of trying to like get emotions out in that way of like instruments and stuff. Yeah, I'm like starting to like write my own lyrics and stuff, and basically those kind of all seem to be basically just like internal emotions and stuff.
Expressing them.
Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes I feel like it's not as like impactful as maybe like talking about political issues or stuff like that, but I don't seem to like gravitate towards that when I write. It's kind of more like an internal reflection at this point.
I think a lot of people could relate with that. I think that's why a lot of
Yeah.
artists do what they do, just to express themselves because they don't know any other way to,
We go through hell.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's like, it's
Like,
a lot.
we go through hell
Yeah.
and have to talk about it.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it drives us insane.
Yeah.
Yep. And I feel like having art and just being in the entertainment and like producing that and making stuff just really helps with everybody, their emotions, and helping other people like connect, right?
Yes. It's interesting. Artists are like critiqued like
So much.
so much when it's so interesting because people who aren't artists rely on artists to like we're everybody's relief. Like people go to shows to like it's their therapy. People listen to music as their therapy, you know what I'm saying? So like if you think about people in the mainstream or artists in the mainstream, they're like, oh well, they didn't do this or they didn't. I'm like, do you know it? I'm same way depending on what it is. If I've used to spend nights in studios, you know what I'm saying? So like I know hard work when I hear hard work and in certain areas, but I'm a writer first, so I'm like, I know you didn't put your blood, sweat, and tears into that weak ass line.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah,
I know
no,
you did.
you can tell.
So don't run around on these interviews saying that you did.
You worked so
You know?
hard.
So like, but when people like bare their hearts and souls in like the music, the production, even if the production is super mainstream, but the lyrics still cut, and you hear the person talking like, like, I just wanted to make the song. I needed something freeing and just something fun or just something like this. But like, oh, this is weak. I'm like, bruh, what? You rely on us to tell you, to show you what life is and to hear what life sounds like. And this shared experience is as a collective of the human race. Mm-hmm. Stay in your place.
There you go. And what inspired you guys to become artists, or like when you're younger? Like when did you realize like, yo, I like this. I want to do this full time.
I think for me, it was definitely from like a really early age. Both my parents are artists. Yeah, I just remember like going to so many like art museums and stuff. And yeah, like I started with drums. It was like my first instrument. That was probably when I was like 6. And then I picked up guitar when I was like 10 and like stuck with that for a long time. But yeah, no, like I've been like drawing and like making stuff for as long as I can remember.
That's awesome.
I have really early childhood memories. I wanted to act when I was 2. So I remember watching Big Mama's House and like, yeah, that was the first words I think I ever said was like, damn. So like, and I was like getting yelled at, like, don't say that. My sister's like, weak in like the corner just laughing, and my 2-year-old self's like, damn. Just like listening to Mark Lawrence. So I remember wanting to act first ever, but by the time I started to write, I think I like really like started like drawing to music. My first memory was about like 3, 4.
Holy moly.
And so I had started like private school, like around like a week or 2 before I turned 4. So I started writing songs the way that my little brain could like comprehend. I did like my first talent show about like 7, but even up until then I was writing songs. And what my first like influences were gospel and blues. And then I got my own little radio to listen to by the time I got older. So like when I really discovered pop music, I was like,
You're like,
whoa,
this is it.
this is craziness. So yeah, high art really like inspired me, like a lot of high fashion and high art. So would research a lot of Jackson Pollock and Jeff Koons and Da Vinci, just a lot of, but then also like on the fashion side, I was looking up a lot of Mugler or
Mugler.
yeah, I love Mugler. Or sometimes like Yves Saint Laurent, or I was looking at Alexander McQueen. I love Alexander McQueen.
The
Rest in
shoes.
peace. Those armadillo heels are crazy. Plato's Atlantis is like my favorite collection. So yeah, all of that. Art is such an amalgamation for me that it's all one.
Mm-hmm.
The music plays into the visuals. The visuals play into the music. The fashion plays into the music, and so on and so forth.
That's awesome. I guess it's kind of the same for me. I started when I was really young. It was more visual arts. I'm still more of a visual artist. I grew up going to a art school, like
Oh my God.
K through
Nice.
senior year.
What?
So,
In art school that's K through senior year? I'm upset.
That's awesome.
yeah.
Did you
I'm
go
kinda
there
pissed.
from K through senior year?
Yep,
Nice.
kindergarten I was enrolled. And throughout the years, they, within like math, they incorporate art. Yeah, so I was lucky enough to go to a charter school that really incorporated the arts.
That's
and
so sick.
That is so dope.
yeah, so I learned everything from like, we had to take like a piano class, learn how to do instruments. So I played like cello for like a few years. I played flute for a few years, learned percussion and all that sort of stuff. So I'm like I know a little bit from every part of the artistry.
That is so awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's how I got into the creative industry and stuff like that.
How enriching. Like,
Yeah, for real.
that's such a flex as a parent. Yeah, my kids go to an art school. Oh, how old are they? 6.
In art charter school.
Yeah. My kid's 6.
Yep, and then
What public school does your
We-
child go to?
we wore like uniforms, right?
Yeah.
But then when we would have like free dress days, and then when everybody would when they didn't
Y'all still
get
had to wear uniforms? Okay, yeah, I'm not for that.
But when we did like free dress days where you could just wear your street clothes, everybody was like had their own style. It was really cool to watch.
That's awesome.
But people also figured out ways to like upgrade their like uniforms and make them look better, and so it's really interesting in that way, and it's probably one of the more inclusive communities. So I was lucky to grow up in that, but that's a little bit about me.
Let's go flex. Not to brag and that, but
How do you guys deal with hate or rejection of what you do? Because there's a lot of people who just speak their mind on it, and
I'm very vocal in my music. It's funny, our album is kind of like that.
forward.
It's very forward, like the first. I've kind of been forward in my music before, but more so, this was like such a platform. I think like 2020 to 2021, 2019 all the way to 2020. There was so much going on in my life that like I let a lot of shit happen. Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah. You're like holding back. No, you're good.
Shit. Well, fuck. Yeah, there was a lot of bullshit going on, and I tolerated a lot of shit, and granted, confidence wasn't all the way fucking there yet. So like, by the time we were working on shit, I was becoming a whole different person, coming into a whole new energy, and I was feeling a lot more ballsy with a lot of things. Even through 2021, I was like, I'm gonna let a lot of shit fly this year, and when this album comes out, I don't want to hear nothing. And that's exactly what it was. I'm kind of person, like, way that I am now. I'm very vocal about how things are, because especially for a younger generation of artists, whether it's specifically in Denver or like everywhere else, so I realize I have a platform and I use it, and that there's people that really like actually listen, and I had to like come to that. Music industry can be very fucking trash at times.
Yeah.
And where I started up was in the hip hop realm, and that hamster wheel in Denver.
Yeah.
Whereas like I have really great connections with people like on a personal level in that realm. More so, I was going to shows getting hate. I'd come, or not necessarily hate, but I mean, folks was hating. So like I'd come dressed how I dress, and rappers would be walking through this motherfucker all backstage. But meanwhile, I get on stage, and then I'm the only one who gets crowd reaction, and then I stop getting booked because they pissed off that they funky ass rappers didn't get no crowd reaction. You know what I'm saying? So like, with our album, I was very vocal about that. In Black Horse in particular, they had me ostracized. Nothing new that was prophesied. You know what I'm saying? These are things I already knew was gonna happen. But it's like, let me see you try. Put it on the line. Give it all that you have, because you don't.
Yeah.
Make it out. Do this and make it out alive.
Yeah.
if you can't fall in line, you know what I'm saying? It's really that confidence in that, like, we have the shit to back it up, the substance to back it up, not just, oh yeah, I'm talking like this, or like I just have this energy. Like, no, here's a substance, try that shit and come back and let's see what you got. You know what I'm saying? Disrespectfully. True. And that energy, like, a lot of people kiss ass in this industry.
Oh,
I don't
for
kiss
sure.
ass.
Yeah. Oh my god,
I don't kiss ass. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you know that shit was weak, dog. Try again. You know?
Yeah.
So I deal with it by putting it in the music. So it's like kind of like ongoing joke is watch your mouth. I'll make a song about you. It's like, all the time. I do have limits. I don't just put everything back.
Okay, and you?
Honestly, I am still figuring out how to deal with it. Like, I feel like I take things really personally, which is not like good for me. I get really emotional about stuff, honestly. So I'm still trying to figure it out. I try and put it in the music and stuff. But yeah, I'm still figuring out like good outlets for like negative perceptions of myself. 'Cause like I kind of have a somewhat negative perception of myself, and so then like when other people have that, it's like it kind of reinforces it, and then it's like hard. You know, it's like hard to love yourself. You know?
It is, yeah.
So I think like
it's a journey.
It is exactly. I'm still on that journey for sure. I'm I'm definitely gonna figure it out, but it might take a while.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
I feel like that's what our 20s are for.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, yeah.
Hate yourself and learn to love yourself. Welcome to your 20s.
Yeah, for real.
Oh my gosh. What are musicians that you'd like to collaborate with?
Yeah, you answer first. I'm going to my notes.
There's so many. Definitely Flying Lotus. Definitely Thundercat. Definitely Clark. Yeah, I could list so many people, honestly. Kendrick. I feel like everyone wants to work with Kendrick.
Kendrick's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, are we ready?
He just said Kendrick. I love Kendrick.
Yeah, for real.
I couldn't find my list that fast.
Oh.
Beyonce.
True.
I would just love to be schooled on stage, and like I just like have this. I grew up in church, so like it's always that like it's almost like it's like you get schooled. You know what I'm saying? I'd love to just do my motherfucking thing, just like have that nod let off and just go crazy, but then her turn around and like almost like show me how it's done.
Yeah, I can see it.
You know,
I can see it right now.
Lady Gaga for sure. I'd love to collaborate with Pharrell. I'd love to collaborate with the Neptunes, period. Kanye West is definitely on my list. Jay-Z, respectfully, is before. That's Hove.
Solid list.
To be able to be on a track with Jay-Z and rap, I think would do a lot for me as a person. That would show that I'm actually a really good writer. I know I'm a wonderful writer, but yeah. I just such a long, but Beyonce is number one.
Those are some solid lists. You know, I can sing. I don't really sing, but I don't know if I don't even have a list. Like, I have people that I like, but collaborating cannot do.
Also, Kid Cudi.
No musician.
Yeah, that would be dope.
God. I know he said he won't do any more sad songs, but Swim in the Light 2.0, I would honestly like one of the songs on our album. Like I love that song so much. I almost like it has like nuances of that. Oh God. Oh, Kid Cudi.
Oh my gosh. Now about like the creative process and how you guys market your stuff and just like your style, how you found your style. Go into that.
I constantly evolve visually. So aesthetic wise, what I'm drawn to and my favorite musicians of the 20th, 21st century. It's a lot of eras, and it's funny because that made its way into like I come from like stan social media of like 2000s of like like 2011 type shit. So like real fucking fan bases.
Yep.
So like we were talking about eras back then. We're like, yo, this era is crazy. So like era like each album has its own aesthetic, has its own world, has its own visuals, has its own like, aesthetic. So I feel like everything, like when we were working on Renaissance, Stream Renaissance.
Mm-hmm. Do it. Spotify, Apple, YouTube.
Hint. That's marketing.
Yeah,
That's
for real.
promo. That's promo.
Shout
Marketing.
yourself out. You're welcome to.
As we working on, I'd record something, and he would start like I'd kind of like sit there, listen to the mix, like I'd kind of just be typing up creative direction or like what the process was and influences, song by song breakdown. I'd hear something like, play that again. And I'm like, yo, we should change this to this. And I'm like, okay, but I like this. I'm like, okay, but we should have it like this. And like it was like such like an immersive experience that like the creative direction normally comes from the heat of the moment. And it's so like, yeah, it's such a visceral experience. I was careful to like, and intentional to incorporate like his like fashion like aesthetic. It's very like punky. It's so gritty. Very like it's so edgy, and I love that edgy kind of fashion.
It's awesome. Check out his work too.
Please,
It's so
he
good.
made both of our jackets.
It is so good.
You can't see what's on the back of mine right now, but he did both of our coats. And I use Renaissance as an example because this is how I work from here on out. It was incorporating both of our aesthetics. I kind of leaned more fashion wise into his aesthetic while still incorporating my own. So I learned his. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm dressed like a slut most of the time. So, so I was like, okay, well, how can I like make this a little more risque? How can I show a little bit more skin with this while still keeping my energy? So I like have on the album cover, the chaps that I did was like kind of like that yeehaw energy that I have. But then also like, I was like, how do I do this and like keep it true to myself? So then from there on out, I thought about the photography. Okay, well, what photography influence does this have? Like, okay, it's a lot of duality in the album. It's going to be black and white in intention. Not black and white for no reason, but to signify duality. Heavy grays to signify more of that, like, we're both. We're not all good. We're not all evil. We're like anti-heroes. So it needs to have that. I need fish eyes for certain things to have more of that, like, gritty street feel for certain photo shoots. We need to have ski masks. The quote is, give a man a mask and he'll tell you the truth.
No, that is an awesome like description that you just gave of like your creative process.
for
Like
real.
that was
It's
really
so
solid.
small. That's such a short explanation.
That was like
I tried to consolidate it as much as possible.
that was a really good description.
For real.
Oh my gosh.
And that's an example of like how things normally like work like are working in my head and how I like pretty much work. And this really set that foundation of how I wanted to work, but have worked in like and a smaller scale with things, but actually working on a full body of work, I was actually really able to tap into that while then really like letting that influence come, especially with it being a collaborative album. I wanted it to make sure that like it was like synergy to where it's like, it's one sound. It doesn't sound like two different sounds and it's not two different looks. All of it is unison.
Yeah. I think it's dope how we incorporated so many different genres, but somehow it's still like
Yes.
it's still kind of it fits all together. I feel like still.
If you think about like Absinthe, that's like electronic music. It's like synthwave. It has like that synthwave feel with the arpeggio, but then it has like this gospel, like the more like choral, like operatic feel. But then also like this like gritty. What would you call that bridge or like that breakdown right before the bridge? It's like really just like
I'm so bad with genres.
I get down where the sun don't shine, still bars up there. My shackles gleam, my mother don't know. It's really that part is really like I took that like from New York, vocal aesthetic and like how I really Lady Gaga.
Lady
really
Gaga's so good.
That bitch is crazy. I love her so much. Her brain
It's
constantly on, even when it's off. It's on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that we said that at the same time.
I know. That was kind of
As
nice.
we should. Yeah, no. Sorry, I didn't mean to take over that, but
No, you're good. Cause my creative process is, I don't really like think about it too much. I kind of just go with the flow, honestly. Like I kind of know what I like instantly. Like I can just like look at something and be like, okay, I like that aesthetic. Or like I don't like that aesthetic, and I kind of just like go off my like intuition with how I create. I kind of just like know what I like and what I don't. And so then I just create like off of that basically. So yeah, it's kind of like my creative process is kind of just like going with the flow more than like being super like conscious of it. And it's kind of cool because when I'm working on something, I'll just like kind of zone out and then like it'll just be done. And then I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's
A lot of his solo stuff is like that. Like I'll be listening to him like, why does this sound done? He's like, yeah, just start working on this. And I'm like, oh yeah, shit, play it. And it's like a minute and a half of something that you could just like put on streaming services right away. He's like, yeah, no, it's not done yet. I still have so, like, so much. I'm
You're
like,
like,
what? Where, first of all, where's the rest? Second, why is this done?
yeah. I'm working on a solo album at the moment.
Ooh.
Sounds
Yeah,
so good.
it's taken me a while because I'm trying to figure out how to put all these like genres that I love together, because like I want to mix like punk with like electronic with like jazz with like so many different things, and I'm like trying to figure out how to do it because it all seems so different, but I'm figuring it out.
I don't know. What you guys have put out so far has sounded so good.
I
Like-
pushed
Thank you.
him to do pop.
It sounds really good.
I honestly love
like-
pop, but it's definitely hard for me to write because I do go with the flow so much. So like usually the song structures that I want to do are like really like progressive and not very like structured as like pop usually
pop,
is.
yep. Oh, that makes sense. What advice do you have for the Black and queer community wanting to get into artistry?
Don't take no for an answer, first of all. Yeah, I don't take no for an answer. I'll literally go around, talk to everybody. If I want something, I'm going to talk around. Tell me no, I'm going to go all the way around until you say yes. And talk to everybody other than you in order to land some. Oh, I thought. Yeah, you thought.
You thought.
You thought. I will honestly say, especially because it's the Roaring 20s again.
Oh my God.
And it's the Renaissance, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Harlem Renaissance. If you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? Shit was black as fuck. So, like, it's definitely that time. Just don't make stuff that's, like, what everybody else is doing. That shit is jank and generic. Stop. Be as authentic as possible. This is advice I have for myself. You don't have to just, like, scour social media to find inspiration. Literally just close your fucking eyes and, like, imagine things. Just whatever inspires you. I know like music is definitely for me, like bumping a lot of Corvette and Street Fever right now has like inspired me so much. Street Fever actually performed at Treefort, shout out. Like just zoning out and like visualizing things. I have so many visions in my head that, so like when I zone out and I see things, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm inspired right now. I'm so conscious of everything that's going on. So I just encourage that. I encourage blackness, unapologetic blackness. I know for most people who are queer and black, they find more love in the queer communities than in black spaces. So I'd say just stay to your roots, do your research, learn who you are and where you come from as far back as you can go, and incorporate that into what you do and bring it to your spaces. And take over these spaces that take influence from you and call it theirs. Because not quiet as kept, but loud as fuck. It's these gay spaces that take from black vernacular, Ebonics, AAVE, and say, oh yeah, this is how we talk. It's not. Certain lingo, gestures, fashion, it comes from black people. So I'd say reclaim all of that unapologetically, whether they like you or not. Don't do shit to be liked. You're going to have a very sad life if you're trying to be liked all the time. Be very bold, and those bold people are going to come your way.
That is so solid. You know what? Maybe a listener, if you're listening and you relate to that, or if you want to, take that to heart. Really?
Yeah, no, like dead ass, take that to heart.
Yeah.
People will not like you. I think that's one thing that
No matter
shakes
what
people.
you do, there's going to be something that someone doesn't like about you.
People going to talk about you whether you do something or not. They're going to talk about you whether you're doing something or they
Exactly.
talk about you whether you're not doing anything at all. Let them bitches talk, so do something.
Exactly. Just do you and you'll be happier.
You know what I'm saying? And it's as like, as as black people, but as like a queer black person, it's like you're normally expected to be like the comedy in the room, the one to break the ice, or the one to educate everybody in the room. So it's like, I just like literally live your life, go into spaces. I mean, it comes with all this is so much easier said than done. Like even all this, I'm saying I'm more so like lived in these experiences in brief moments, so much more than I like just do it in my day-to-day life now. Whereas like I know I'll say something and it'll tense people up. I know that before I say it, and I say it and I watch people do it and I just keep talking. And then the more I talk about it, people are like, okay, I can kind of relax my shoulders now. Okay, okay. He's still going. Oh yeah, I understand. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like, just say what you got to say and mean that shit and give your art in the most authentic and the rawest way possible. Everything, mediocrity is literally rewarded in the entertainment industry.
It is.
And it's like expected now. So like people don't know what to do with overtly talented people because they don't want to work that hard. Mm-hmm. Specifically the music industry.
Yeah, nope.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
like you know what I'm saying? People are getting awards and like getting hella radio time, and then their fan bases are arguing on the internet. See, my person is more talented than your fave. No, your person is just marketable because they can do 3 things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Be you authentically and as black as possible. I like shit like that. I resonate with it more. There's not enough. I don't see enough of myself, even on like shows.
Right.
So it's like there's like this stereotypical view of how black queer people are supposed to be, and there needs to be more people who actually are queer and black writing those things, not white showrunners doing black shows. Specifically, Dear White People. I got beef for that last season. We need actual black people and actual black queer people writing for those people, and that goes for indigenous people. That goes for Asian. Those people need to be represented. There's been enough. We've seen enough of the status quo. It's a new age. Period. We can see less. That also goes for heteronormativity.
Mm-hmm. No, that's solid. I wanted to also talk about your guys' performances this weekend. How was that? How was the first one? How was the second one? How did those go? How did you feel about the atmosphere? Everything? Oh?
There were like a lot of technical difficulties, but I feel like when we played, it was, I feel like pretty much every time we play, it's like, it's a really good feeling.
The balcony was personally my favorite because
that's the one I watched. I didn't go yesterday, but oh my god, so
I haven't
the balcony was dope.
This man plays guitar, so like at any time he's doing his thing. I'm more so, it's funny because people, like if I'm working with sound techs, like even if it's not even in Treefort, wherever, I'll get like questions from like sound techs or whatever, and they'll be like, well, can you do like this? Can you do like this? I'm like, no, this is what I gave you, and this is what we're gonna do. This is what I want to do. This is what you are paying me to do. You know what I'm saying? So like, I love bringing tracks, like whole ass production with the background vocals, the whole experience of the song, and bringing like the actual record that you could put in your ears to the live experience and just enhancing that. And I haven't gotten to really like perform with tracks in a minute. And like, I didn't know the balcony was actually a gay club until like earlier this week. So I was like, I had my doubts. I was like, did they just book me for a gay club because they saw how I dress? Then I was like, I always think that though, because
okay.
That's normally like a thing. Like at least like in Denver, it's like everyone supports in June and then they forget about you afterwards. So like, because they're like, oh yeah, pride flags. Okay, July. So we're doing July 4th, right? All right, bet. Oh yeah, hi. You know, so, but I that's always my first thought. So like after I got past that initial thought, I was like, you know what? I actually looked at the space. I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna really like this. I saw like they had a screen. I was looking at some of the performances. I saw the Street Fever was there. So I was like, oh fuck yeah, I'm hyped. So like the fact that I got to most places I don't dress a certain like too out there. Depending, I don't show as much skin. Let's just go ahead. My ass is not showing as much. Let's just go ahead and say it. So like the fact that I kind of took it, man. I was like, wait, let me rethink this because I can actually be a little raunchy. And it was 21 and up, so it's lit. So the fact that I got to really just dress how I wanted and then also do the kind of show that, you know, I personally wanted to give was just so awesome. And then by like that first, I was like so nervous about my vocals the whole weekend. the past couple months just have not been it for me. So like being able to like do that by the time Wedlock came on, I got the itch my father couldn't resist. I always know if my voice is good because I do the back. I got that itch, and so I was like, oh, my voice is here. And so when it just started going, like I just like sang one of the higher notes, and I was like, oh. I remember at some point in like during Wedlock, just like giving like this note. It was like it's like the highest note, second highest note in the song, right before the switch up or the breakdown into the switch up, and I was like, oh, this rap section is about to go crazy. It
did.
Thank you.
It did, for
So
sure.
like, I just love being able. When I'm on stage, I'm a lot more. I'm a pretty fiery person already, but like on stage, there's so much more of that fire that like I'm able to show. I'm black and a man, so if I show like too much fire in my day-to-day life, I don't. People still aren't used to that. They're not used to that yet. So like on stage, I'm able to just
go at it.
And like really show my anger, like show my aggression, like that raw aggression. So like on stage, being able to do that was just fucking awesome. And Funky Taco, switching into last minute into what we did, I believe it gave, it turned out the way they were supposed to, and people got to see that. We do for the people who came for both nights. There was a good amount of people who came and saw both shows. They got to see the show one way, and they got to see the show a different way. But then also see, yes, we're performers. We can handle lights. We can handle a crowd. We can handle all that. But then don't mistake our musicianship. We're nerdy in that sense, you know what I'm saying? He's very nerdy with his instrument. He's very nerdy with his craft. I'm very geeky and nerdy about my craft. I think about literally every aspect. So like, but we're professionals, you know what I'm saying? So like being able, if something does happen, it's like, okay, we still know how to perform. We still know how to do our jobs. You know what I'm saying? So it's, I think.
Yeah, like every aspect of our jobs, I feel like I'm good at like the technical stuff, like, because I could like run sound at like a lot of these venues. So yeah, it is a little frustrating when we're like trying to like run tracks and it's just like not happening.
Technical issues.
But it was fun. Like I think it is fun to like kind of challenge yourself and like
it keeps you on your toes.
It
for
really
real.
does, because
It's
I
a
was not
test to see
prepared
if
to
you
do that. But like I feel like we definitely did it. Like it turned out good for sure.
We're obsessed with what we do.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, I mean, it just shows, like, I think in those moments, despite whether it's as a performer, whether what you want or not, I believe that's the universe's way of being like, it'll humble you real quick and be like, all right, do that.
Yeah.
Hey, that didn't work out. All right, can you still do it? That it speaks to you as a performer. And it speaks to you
it
as...
tests your ability.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
We did Black Horse, like acoustic for the first time, like, at last night.
Was it good?
Yeah.
It was probably good.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about it?
I was like,
where we will be like,
I was struggling really hard.
we were
But,
like,
yeah.
we got back to the hotel and he was like, how'd it sound? I was like, yo, we did that shit on the fly, bro. Like, you ain't gotta beat yourself up too much. Like there were areas that we both, I believe we were in our heads a lot about. But what we hear individually and collectively, as opposed to what the audience is hearing, our ears are trained completely different. Our ears are trained. Whereas like most audiences, their ears aren't trained. They go to shows.
And they're like, oh,
get
this is so
drunk,
good.
And they're like,
if you like
this
mess
is
up,
the best
they
thing
won't
I've ever
learn.
heard in my life.
Yeah. I'm always like thinking, oh, what if there's like a really good musician in the crowd and they like heard me mess up the blues? Like I had totally messed up the blues changes last night. I was like,
I'm always
like,
scared
really?
that somebody in the audience is like a vocal coach and they're gonna come to me and they're just like looking at me in the audience. They're like, and they just come up to me afterwards like, hey, you did a great job. So that one song you did, that one note you hit, you had like not enough breath support. What do you normally do? Who do you train with? Like I feel like somebody's really gonna fucking clock me one day. Yeah. So I'm just glad that most people come up and they're like they don't hear everything that I hear.
Yeah.
Because I hear all of my mistakes, despite people saying that they don't hear mistakes. There are mistakes. Like that shows. I don't lip sync. So and he don't.
Good.
He plays
Good.
over like You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
as it
like,
should be.
But I believe there's actually beauty in those mistakes because it actually like shows that it brings a humanity to like the artists and the musicians and to the performances. I personally like hearing somebody fuck up.
Yeah,
Beyonce's a whole different.
I don't think you're
level,
pushing
but-
yourself if you don't fuck up.
Yeah, no.
You know, like you can't like
It shows
you're
you're thinking.
pushing yourself if you fuck up.
Yeah.
Shows you think about your craft. Probably shouldn't be thinking as you perform. Should just let it happen.
Yeah, it is a different world performing. Like it's weird how like we'll rehearse one way and like I feel like shows always go a completely different way, but
Every
like,
time.
I feel like both of us have like been performing for so long that I feel like we just kind of get it, and then like it's really cool to like have that experience of performing live and like zoning out in that way on stage. Like yeah, I feel like
your
if
way
you're
of
a
zoning
performer
out.
you like really understand. It's hard to describe.
Your way of zoning out is like completely different from mine. Your way of zoning out is like I'll like be doing this to like let you know to stop me. You're just like you hear that face going on. I'm like,
With the
I'm
guitar.
gonna let him do his thing. My way of zoning out is I look fully like aware of what's going on, and I just like completely black out, and I'm like across the entire venue, like doing God knows what.
Yeah, I usually don't remember the set either. Like after it's just like you kind of like were there before the set, and then after it's like you just don't remember what
rely
happened
on-
in between, kind of.
I rely on those videos to
Yeah.
show me what happens. Like that video from the balcony. Like it was like during the
Yeah.
rap section of Wedlock. I'm just like throwing ass. I was
Yeah,
like,
you
wow,
were.
I'm a fucking thought. That's great.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Sorry if I hope we didn't drag that out. It was facts.
Yeah.
No, performance is very different.
Yeah,
Like
it is. It's like completely different.
you could be a great studio artist
Yeah.
and a horrible performer.
I completely agree with that. There are some people with beautiful voices, but like then you go watch them perform, and you're like, just like they're like standing there. You're like, I mean, like it could be better.
I
Like
would-
maybe put visuals up there or something. Like
I went to this concert. I won't say which weekend concert, but I went to see The Weeknd, and he had this one opener. He had this huge banger, and it was a song in Denver. And so I love the song. It's is a thrasher, but he performed it, and it was just mundane,
really.
lackluster. I was like, my sister looked over at me. She said, I was like, what the? She said, not this. I was like, not this. Next opener came out, and I was like,
man.
that's who I didn't expect to be lit. And the person who I didn't expect to be lit actually was a better performer than a studio artist, in my opinion.
That's it's
Insane.
yeah.
And then The Weeknd came out, and I was shaking for about an hour and a half.
Yeah, no, I went to go. We had Oliver Tree and like his openers. Like it was like 4, 5, 6, or 7, something. Aiden. He's like the one that sings like "Dancing in My Room." That guy opened. He was very mellow. He's obviously probably a newer performer. Like there's a lot of work to do. And then I saw
No
Swanko.
hate to everybody who's learning
I
their
know. No, of
performance
course.
style.
But you know, and then I saw
Do step it up,
Swanko.
though.
Swanko was pretty solid. He was going like
You said
crazy.
who?
Swanko.
I feel like I know who that is.
You probably like seen him on like TikTok or something.
Dude who got signed to Travis Scott. Is that who it is? He had
I
like
have no
that
idea.
one song.
I'm not a big Swanko fan, but I did listen to.
I fucking know. Is it SWAYGO? Oh, who am I thinking of?
I don't know. He's not as big, but he has like.
I'm thinking of Sofego. I think
There
that's
you
what I'm
go.
thinking of.
Yep.
Yeah, he's so dope.
Swanko was pretty good. He's more of a punk artist and goes crazy.
Sorry, we're talking about two different people.
Good.
Not me dragging that out.
And then Oliver Tree. Oliver Tree, his performance
Is he
was
dope?
okay. This is my personal opinion.
Okay.
So when it first starting out, it was very. It was okay. Not really entertaining. It was a lot of talking and more like screwing around. And then like when he would like perform and like sing his songs, he'd be like bouncing around the stage and stuff. He brought like Little Ricky on. not sure who that is really. He just
I
said
don't know
that.
who that is
And he was
either.
like dressed up in like an alien outfit, and they're just jamming on stage. He brought like a cow on stage.
Like an actual cow.
Well, like a little prop cow.
Okay, I was
It's just
like-
in there
Y'all
like,
would have been
That's like-
shitted.
no, right? I mean, they could have grabbed
This
him off the.
motherfucker brought a cow.
He
he
could have
got a
grabbed him off
farm,
the off the
deadass.
freaking street. I mean, there's cows everywhere here. Oh my god. But like,
He's just on his tech writer. I need a cow.
I need a cow. They're like bringing up. Oh my gosh. And yeah, he got
I
on
need
like.
all green M&Ms and a cow to bring on stage. Fucking jackass.
But he was
That would be hilarious.
He was just jumping around doing his thing, and then I got bored, so I left. So I don't know. Maybe it wasn't my forte, but a lot of people seem to enjoy him. I feel like Sueko had a better performance aspect. He like really interacted with the crowd. He like did crowd surfing, and yeah, he was going crazy.
I like it. Yeah, he crowd surfed.
Yeah, it's like whatever.
He like burned down one of the lights, threw it at an audience
he went
member, and then
crazy.
autographed it.
Oh my god. But yeah, no, I definitely see where like the performance aspect is. Like if there's obviously studio artists and then performers. The big difference.
Drastic. Drastic.
It's kind of crazy. It's like you'd think like maybe they'd be a good performer.
This is not directed to Oliver Tree, but there's a rapper who calls himself like the greatest performer. Just because you jump around on stage
Doesn't
and you
make
piss
it-
people off and you speak your mind and you get canceled for saying problematic shit doesn't mean that you're the world's greatest performer. It means you have good lungs.
He said what he said.
And I make that shit. I don't know. It's a lot of rappers will call themselves some of like the greatest performers, and they don't know a thing about,
Perform.
they don't sit there and pay attention to the lights and when the lights show up. They don't know where to be on stage for certain songs. If your song is slower, you need to be closer to the front of the stage. That way it connects more with the audience. If it's a lot more hype, you should probably be more in the back. That way more of the audience sees you. Know when to interact with the audience. Know when not to interact with the audience. There really is like performance is really, I watch world tours like in my free time, and I study. Like I really study performance, and I study performance art. So like they're
Oh my God.
I really love
like-
performance. So there's an art to it, and there's a discipline to it, for real.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Discipline.
For sure.
What are your guys' future goals for like music and performing and whatever you want to do? Like where do you want to be in like 5 years?
I definitely want to be like able to support myself off of just music and art. Yeah, like playing bigger venues, touring, like real tours. I mean, we're gonna go on one over the summer.
Yeah.
Like that's a real
We're
tour.
literally about to be on tour.
So yeah, it's
We're on
Exciting.
tour right now. This is like
Yeah,
it's our like
Our
yeah,
little
it's
mini one.
yeah.
mini tour, but yeah, like over the summer.
Well,
we're
per my
gonna-
manager, he said, "Don't call it a mini tour," so I named it a March Run. This is the March Run.
The March. Yeah. But yeah, I want to have like my own studio, like at my house, like a real studio, like not just like an interface and some monitors, you know, like I want like,
He has
The
bass traps in
whole-
his room.
yeah, but I made those, like, I definitely want like,
They're no, please.
it's just
He-
insulation in some wood to like help with the acoustics, but
He really does this for real.
Oh my.
He's like downplaying it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It is like it
little
is a
bit,
room
but-
setup, but like no, it's still insane.
yeah, but yeah, I also want to like, yeah, I just want to do this like for real. Like I feel like we're getting there, but like still have a ways to go to like be like a professional musician, like only making money off of music and like doing the whole tour cycle, get like recording an album, touring, and just like doing that, you know. Yeah, that's like my biggest goal.
Yeah, but we recorded that album in his basement. like in his room.
That's
so,
where
like,
all good music starts. Let's be honest.
For
it's the most. It has a warm sound. I listened to the album again most recently, like all the way through, and it almost like has this warm sound. Not directly like vinyl. Like if you listen to vinyl records, it like has that warmness, like that warmth to it. That like listening to vinyl. They actually learned listening to like albums in his room, which is crazy. You said in 5 years. I'm more focused on like being wealthy than being famous.
Me too. Me too.
You know what I'm saying? Like I understand like the
feel
life,
that.
the life I lead, and more so, especially being like at the forefront of what I do. Fame is inevitable. So
Yeah.
it's like I get that. So like, but my focus isn't so much on being like
Famous. It's
You
more
know.
like monetizing. Getting that
Neptune
money.
live a lifestyle. And Neptune need that bread first and foremost. Everything else is great afterwards. So definitely that bank account is going to be a whole lot spicier in 5 years.
Yeah.
My rates definitely went the fuck up over a matter of months. So
Oh, there we go.
we already on a great track for that. But I definitely want to be on a world tour within 5 years.
Yeah.
I think it's
100%
possible.
dope.
Yeah, I definitely think that
Agree.
can happen within 2 to 3.
Yeah.
A lot of people said I wouldn't be here in a year, so
A lot can happen.
you know
in
it's
a
crazy.
year.
A lot of people actually were asking me what I wanted to do in a year, like in 2022. What do you want to be doing next year? I want to be on tour. Oh well, tours are expensive. You don't have to think about that right now. Like you should really focus on this. And I was like, oh, okay. 2 tours, and I said I wanted to be on 2 tours in 2022, and exactly fucking that. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like being on a world tour within 3, I don't think that's, and this being like year 1. So within the next 2 years, like 2023, 2024, that's not impossible.
It is
you know?
possible. A lot of things are possible. It's just a mindset.
I
Yeah.
want to definitely have
For real.
a solid deal. That's not a 360 deal.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of hard to find in the music industry. Trade secret. Music industry folks don't like artists who know a good amount about the business part because they don't like that they can't fuck you over. Which is kind of to my downfall because that makes them not want to
Work with you.
me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So not getting a 360 but a solid deal. That I can actually like really a lot of sponsorships is what I'm looking forward to. A solid deal is what I'm looking forward to within the next 5 years. Definitely being able, that bread being able to sustain. I'm a firm believer in creating generational wealth.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
whereas like a lot of people, I got dragged on a Facebook post during Black Heritage Month. I don't like that history part because there's a misconception. Words are everything. About how like I'm supporting Black capitalism, all types of things. And I'm like, well, in America, if you don't want to fight the system or you want to just be its bitch, I'll compete and be wealthy as fuck.
Yeah.
And create, be on the track to create Black Wall Streets again in America after they got blown the fuck up. Just creating a legacy, honestly, and being very intentional with everything I do. I have every intention to be going down in history as one of the greatest artists to ever live and to ever embark this journey. Whatever that calls for. More so at the if that means so much a lot of like sacrificing of self, of like personal life and all that. I've already sacrificed so much. I don't really have a personal life like that anymore because this is all I do. So doing literally whatever it takes so that my future generation really they won't be spoiled brats, but that they have all the access in the world and the resources in order to have the best education, the most accurate history, to learn where they come from, who they are, where they come from, all the resources in order for them to thrive, have their own businesses and make sure that my children's grandchildren and so on and so forth are set up. And to be, of course, be a household name, but to also be a powerful Black family and to create a powerful Black lineage. And not just but using entertainment and music in order to create that. I'd like my kids to be lawyers. I would like my kids to be doctors. I would like my kids to do every damn thing. And so on and so on, their kids to do all those things. So just creating a dynasty and an empire is what is on my mind. A lot of people would say that is a very fucked up way of thinking. I
think personally, I think it's a great way of.
I'm not gonna be broke.
Yeah.
So.
One of my previous guests, we literally talked about that, like leaving a legacy, what success is, and.
Success.
Yeah.
I mean, about 100 years ago, talking like that could literally get your ass beat if you had this complexion. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that there is like to be able to say that, and we can see people who are black billionaires, whether they did dirty shit, shady shit, whatever. There is black people who are billionaires that we're witnessing in America, in a land where people with my complexion built. Those same people are now billionaires, and somebody's greats are now they're what they had to endure was not in vain. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So to have the balls to be greater and to live up to that, to pass on, something and have something, there's always this people, especially in America with artists, period, like they like down us for wanting to be great, and they like shit on us for wanting to like want to be great at what we do, what black, white, anything. It's like somebody who says like Pusha T said that he's the Martin Scorsese, that he's the Scorsese of street rap. I believe that. You know what I'm saying? Kanye West banging at doors, and Y2K getting on tables like this and rapping for people and saying, I'm the greatest rapper alive. You know what I'm saying? People shitting on him, but then he's one of the richest black men in America, and he's made some of the most classic and most pivotal hip-hop albums mm-hmm. outside of hip-hop to just fucking ever. Yeah. You could talk shit all you want, but you can't talk shit on that hustle. You can't talk shit on that grind. And you can't talk shit on that bank account.
Yeah,
yeah.
You can't talk shit on that talent.
Yeah.
Having all of that together, that intimidates people. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and this is not shitting on mailmen, but some people are mailmen, and that's okay. Some people do not settle, and some people do. I don't settle. I don't take no for an answer, of course, with my craft. And where I work, I have every intention to be global. I have every intention to be a household name to the point where it annoys people by any means necessary.
I think the way you think is going to get you far.
Mentality is everything.
Yep.
It's all about perception and how you look at things. Honestly, and Treefort has honestly like helped with that. Again.
That's good.
No, like I really needed Treefort so much. Like last night, I didn't want to leave. Also, my manager was like, "You need a network."
Oh, there's a lot of hidden talent here.
Yo, no, Treefort. I needed this. I didn't want to leave last night, but it also played well because I kept getting brought on stage, and then also just networking and meeting such dope people. Actually, people that we're gonna see in Seattle and everything like that. So super dope. Like All Day Trade, super awesome. Like. You meet such great people. Mm-hmm. You meet such dope people. For this bit, like me personally, is this your first out-of-state festival as well?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
So at least, like, from what we know, like, our first, like, out-of-state festival, and it's such a great experience. And, like, it was, like, that rejuvenation that I needed as a person, but more so as an artist. And, like, because this is my day-to-day, like, I don't work a 9 to 5, so this is what I do every fucking day. So, like, it's what I definitely needed, and it's just it's like rewarding. Like I wish this experience for like a lot of like for every artist to be able to like have something that inspires, being around people who are all like doing this for real and grinding for real and not at the top of their game just yet, still hustling and grinding and still broke as fuck. There's this misconception that like we have all the money in the world because like we go out of state and like as artists we go out of state and do shit. No.
No, yeah.
No, that money goes into what? It goes into like everything else. You know what I'm saying? Like there's whole ass budgets. There's whole ass like there's a method to the motherfucking madness. Pursuing music is madness. It's a literal madness.
Yeah.
Financially, socially.
Like the tax expenses, like venues and.
It is madness. So crazy. Like,
oh, he took off the glasses.
Dead ass. You cannot be sane to do music and pursue it like this. You can't be right all the way up here. yes, every artist is a little not here.
Yeah.
If there was like any question that there's an artist who's like all the way here, no. Strong misconception. The only ones who are like pretty much in their right minds are like the social media influencers who like start doing music just to like be more popular. Those are the only ones who are like actually here. No, we're actually like kind of off our rockers, some more than others.
Yeah,
I might be that some, but it's okay. But the experience, Treefort has been so rewarding. Like this experience, like just being here. Wow, nice bun. I'm putting these back on. This is part of the look. Not me looking at the screen. Said I wasn't.
You're good.
I broke the fourth wall.
Like
Sorry. Okay, good. Well, I just broke the fourth wall. Sorry. Hi, we're at a podcast. Okay. So, like being able to do press and things like that's something I personally wanted to do. So, like after just like doing the balcony and then hearing, hey, we want to do this. We want to do this. Like that's everything an artist wants. Like this helps us out. So, like also, so thank y'all so much.
Yeah,
honestly,
of course. Oh my gosh,
like,
it's been great.
Thank you. I feel like I go places, I start talking, and I like start saying shit that's like a PR disaster. I was literally telling my tour manager, I was like, I'm a PR disaster.
I was like, I got a headache from you.
Like, I literally told like my manager, I was like, yeah, I want to start acting. He's like, so I think that's really great. We should build to that and not focus on that right now. Mm-hmm. I'm like, great. I'm gonna start reading monologues.
He's like, okay.
But like doing press, like that's artists. Like this is what we want. You know what I'm saying? And like having those outlets who are so supportive and everything like that, like we're able to take something back to where as artists, like where we're from, like where we're based at and be like, hey, I actually do things, people actually support. Hey, these artists are actually super dope. Sorry, I got a little off topic, but I just wanted to talk about like how rewarding Treefort was.
With that being said, NPR, do you guys want to shout yourself out? Where can they listen to your music? Instagrams, whatever.
I guess I can go first.
Yeah, go
I've been talking the whole time.
So my Instagram's Rusty_Steve_. And then you can like get to my website from there, and I have a bunch of like jackets I've been making for sale.
Very cool stuff. I would check it out.
I got some like ski masks with my logo screen printed over the whole face. Yeah.
Let me just.
Yeah, and I do custom jackets and stuff. Like this is something I've like made, like studded and painted and stuff. Yeah, you can find us on any streaming. It's just RustySteve, 2 words, and then Neptune N3. I can't. You say it way better than I do. I was about to like mess up spelling it.
No, I was literally about to love if you just spelled it all the way because I was like, oh,
I wasn't
my
gonna
God.
be able to.
So proud.
I have
This is the
dyslexia. I was not gonna be able to do that.
My name is Neptune. N3. N3ptune. If that first C in a 3, bitch, it ain't me, and I probably won't respond to your DM. That is not a lie. No, I actually be saying that, and people think I'm just like joking on stage.
And they're like, "Oh, he's so funny."
There's like been important messages in my like direct messages that I like haven't gotten to because I saw "Hey Neptune" spelled like the planet, and I just did not respond.
Awkward.
Or like by the time I'm like done with like my internal temper tantrum, I'm like, hey, then I'll respond to the message, and then the second message is like an asterisk and then spelled correctly. I've done that in emails too. Sorry, off topic again. Okay. There's a focus here. I have ADHD, it shows. N3ptune. You can find me literally everywhere. If you can you can Google me, just type Neptune. I'm on all streaming services, social media handles. N3ptune music, Neptune music. Yeah, everything is pretty self-explanatory from there. Yeah, you can listen to Renaissance. I have some like all my like old music. It's like off of streaming services, so you can hear like what I was doing in 2019, just a little bit. But yeah,
there you go.
like everywhere.
Go follow them. Go check out their work.
Buy our merch. Go to our website and buy our merch.
Thanks for
Like dead ass. Go to whoever's listening to this and watching this. Buy the merch, buy the jackets, buy the shirts, buy the mask.
everything. Period.
I didn't even have to say it. You just finished it. I love that.
Yeah.
We
so
finish each other's sentences.
Ooh.
Conspire!
Well, thank you for tuning into this episode of Mastery Minds. Make sure to follow the podcast on Mastery Minds podcast on Instagram, Twitter. I feel like we have a TikTok, YouTube.
I need to make sure I'm following you all there, like everywhere.
We have Spotify and Apple Mastery Minds. So, thanks for listening, guys, and I will see you next episode.